Hello, everybody. Welcome to Awaken to Positive Power, where myself, Jemima Godsall, and my co-host, beautiful Darcy Mata. Hello, Darcy.
Hello.
We come to you each week discussing topics surrounding mental health. Here, mental health matters.
Yeah.
And I am also an ambassador for Theraexpressions Meditation in Casper, Wyoming. Check them out. Awesome group. They do live classes and online classes, and there too, mental health matters. So this week, Darcy, we have a guest. Yay! We haven't had a guest for a while. And so we've got this beautiful lady called Kaylin. She's going to come in and talk about her trauma to triumph, whatever sort of story it may be.
Okay.
And we can't wait to invite her on. But with Darcy and I just want to touch on emotions, just very briefly, because she's waiting. I'm feeling very emotional. And Darcy said she was feeling emotional yesterday. Kaylin, the guest, also felt really emotional. And I mean, I'm putting it down to planets and Pisces and women and all the above. But it's just something like I've just been tearing all morning. And I can't put a finger on it. And that's okay, because I'm letting myself. I just go, okay, this is fine. This is beautiful. But it's just odd sometimes, isn't it, when it flows through you and you just feel like, here I am. See, I'm going to cry again.
Yeah.
I just feel really emotional. It's just
realize that there's a lot of different reasons for it. I just want to list off the reasons. And so the reasons tell us that you're okay. There's nothing wrong with you, except that you're blowing your nose in a towel. But I'm kidding.
When I get scratchy nose.
That's easy. But there's nothing wrong with you. So some of the reasons that make us weepy, there's a number of them. So it can be hormones, number one. That could be.
Yeah,
it could be all the healing work that you're doing, all the breath work that you're doing, because you're participating both as a student participant, and then you're just beginning to work with clients. So that brings up all sorts of stuff until you learn to balance out those energies, right? So there's those three things actually: student, healer, hormones. Then there's also, as a sensitive individual, there's the state of the world. There's things that are going on in the world. And when we work as healers and when we work on our receptors and we meditate, we really get sensitive to what's happening in the world. Yeah. And right now there's always so much going on. And so sometimes it's that. And then sometimes it could be from somebody close by. So, this is what makes you human.
Yeah.
This is your strength. So make sure that you bless it, that you appreciate the fact that you have big feelings. When the feelings come up, just let them flow like the rain, let them just go and say, wow, this is what makes me human. This is so beautiful. And it might be painful and it might be difficult, but being so grateful for the fact that you can feel. Sadness is the door to compassion. And so really, really honor your feelings today. Good for you. You're lucky that you feel.
Exactly. I'm quite enjoying just sobbing.
Being with it, right?
What's wrong, my love? And I was like, nothing. It's like, you're so sensitive. And I'm going, I know, I don't know why, I don't know what's going on. And it was just like, I enjoy, for probably the first time, not trying to find a reason. Right. Relaxing into just letting it be, letting it flow. And it doesn't feel so comfortable in terms of at first I was like, oh, why? No, I thought, no, just cry. It's kind of cleansing. It's kind of cleansing.
It's absolutely cleansing. And sometimes you want to meditate with it because maybe there's a message in there for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and as you said, I mean, there are a lot of stories going on in terms of my stories being brought up again because of breath work, but also I'm hearing a lot of stories, and it's intense. We're all amazing, but people, oh my God, some of the people I've met and have worked with recently are just, yourself included, are just amazing. We're all just human beings trying to make the best of what we're doing, aren't we? It's just inspiring. It inspires me how we all have this strength of energy on the outside, and inside there has been so much, I'm going to cry again, so much trauma. That's
so many people, and just being present with it.
Yes.
Let's get our guest on, because speaking of being present,
just keep going soon. Yes. Okay, this is beautiful Kaylin. Welcome her, everyone. Here she comes.
Yay.
Yay! Hey, Kaylin! Yay! Hey, where are you? Hello!
She's
You're
almost
coming. There you are. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome to
Good
Awaken
to see
Positive
you.
Power.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you for having me.
no worries. This is Darcy, my co-host, and we welcome you with big hugs this morning. Thank you for showing up for us. How you doing? How you doing out there?
I'm doing well. We matched today, Jemima. We're
I
wearing
know. Yes, we've all got greys on. We've all got
Yes.
greys on. That's funny.
That is so funny. Yeah, so I'm doing well. It's freezing today. It's minus 18 Celsius, which I think is about -1 Fahrenheit. So
Darcy, I'm like, okay, we won't complain anymore.
it's so cold. I had a shower this morning, went outside just to let my dogs out, and my hair froze almost instantly.
Oh,
Oh my God.
Yes,
That's
so
crazy.
I'm bundled up and warm today.
Hey, Kaylin,
I
can
didn't know
you
you had
turn
dogs,
up
by the
your
way.
volume a little bit? Is that possible?
Yes.
And I didn't know you had dogs. That's beautiful. Darcy just said, do you have any pets? I didn't know you had dogs. Bless you. Because you
I
were
do. If I hold the mic here, does that help?
No, don't worry about it.
You're
That's-
fine.
That's good. You're
Okay,
good.
thank you. I can come forward too. Yes, I do. I have 2 Chihuahuas. They don't like this weather at all.
I'm sure. The tiny little bodies would freeze. Like, God.
Yeah, their paws freeze. They lift up their paws when they're cold and they just stand there and then I pick them up.
You
Oh.
have a garage for them to go pee in a little pee spot thing?
Yes, I do. I actually do have pee pads. I have 2 Chihuahuas and one is quite tiny. She's only 6 pounds and she doesn't go outside when it's like this.
Oh,
But I have
bless.
another one who is 15 pounds. He's a bit bigger and he likes to go outside.
Bless the characters here.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, let's switch from we could talk about our pets all day.
Oh, I know.
I have
Yes.
2 dogs too.
let's get down to our mental health. So, Kaylin, my love, you're here because you are brave enough to step forward and talk about whatever you've chosen to talk about. What's your story have you brought to us today?
So yeah, I was really thinking, and I think what I'd like is to maybe talk about two past traumas, or sort of, yeah, just the 2 big things I'd say in my journey, or that were the biggest things to heal from and to confront and surrender to. So when I was 12,
Thank you for sharing.
oh,
Thank you for sharing.
I'll start when I was 12. So I experienced death for the first time. It was my grandmother, and she lived a beautiful life. She was in her 80s. So she passed away suddenly. And then shortly after, a few weeks after, my grandmother on my other side passed away. And so just experiencing that, because I was young, I was 12, it set off chaos in my mind. And I needed control. And the way I was going to get that control was through my eating. So that is really, I developed an eating disorder that would last about 10 years before I finally was able to move on from those behaviors. So I started restricting. I was counting every calorie. I was obsessed with losing weight. My entire self-worth was just wrapped up in this dark place. And depression really comes in with eating disorders. And the biggest thing is I kept it all secret, and I was able to hide it and keep it secret for 7 years almost. And if anyone did start to notice, I would switch things up so I could keep going. So in high school, some of my teachers started commenting like, wow, you're losing a lot of weight, or you're very thin. And immediately I was like, okay, so I need to start eating. And because people noticed I wasn't eating. So then I was like, okay, I'll eat. And then I started purging. So it's almost, when we have these, I'd call it an addiction, really. Eating disorders are a form of addiction. We have so many ways we can keep them secret to keep the bad habits going. And I was doing everything. So into university, I had this eating disorder as well. And I would walk to class, and there was one time where I passed out on my way to my lecture, just in the street. And people were like, are you okay? And I came to very quickly, and I was just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. And I took no notice of it and just went to class. There was another time I went to school in Toronto. I was on the subway, and I was standing up, and I got dizzy and knew I was going to faint. So I sat down very quickly, and I ended up passing out. And I don't know how long I was out for, but I know that I laid there and I rode the subway all the way to the end of the line and then all the way back. And I only really came to when one of the staff woke me up. They thought I was just sleeping, and they were like, ma'am, like, you have to get off the subway now. and all these things I wanted to say, because a huge part of eating disorders is the idea, and I think with addictions too, I'm not sick enough. I don't need help. I'm not sick enough. I'm fine. I can keep doing this. I'm still going to school. I still have a job. Like there's no way I'm sick enough. And that's also just part of the negative self-talk, not giving yourself any permission to feel anything except down on yourself. And sometimes I would think, wow, like maybe I do have an eating disorder, but I'm not even good at that. I mean, I can't even do this right. Like I'm not thin enough. Or so for me, the secrecy was really what kept me going. And then eventually what helped me get out of that is I did talk. I told someone who was close to me. I decided to tell my mom. And bless my mom, she helped me every way she could. But because these topics aren't talked about, she didn't really know how to handle it either. And then that can be part of the fear of telling someone is their reaction. But I did go to a doctor. And again, this is where it's hard when things weren't talked about. This was over 10 years ago now. My doctor weighed me when I got there. She told me I was at a healthy weight, so I was okay. And she prescribed me, she just prescribed me Prozac and sent me on my way.
Oh my God, no way.
Yeah. And so this is why it's so good we're talking about, because I think now it is different where we know, or at least there are outlets where you can go and get that validation that that's not how it should be. So anyway, so my thing, however, is when I was able to tell someone and move on from my eating disorder, there was no real healing. I stopped the habit of purging and I started eating regularly again. I really put a lot of work into that, but really I just moved on to another vice, I guess. I started self-harming and I was able to get that control from harming myself. So thank you. So with that, my method of choice was cutting, and I don't do that anymore. And I was so shameful of that for so long, so embarrassed, because I did it into my 20s. And I would tell myself, this is an adolescent problem. Kids do this. This isn't, I should be over this by now. And which is so hard. So again, I kept it secret. Like I was like, everyone around me is giving me so much support for my eating disorder. I cannot tell them that this is what I'm doing now.
Right.
So the last trauma I guess I want to touch on is all of these feelings, and without actually acknowledging my own depression, it led me to an abusive relationship. I met a man who completely love bombed me at first, pursued me very heavily, said all the right things. And I thought maybe this is the light. Maybe I can get close to someone and they'll really understand and I can start to heal. And it turns out he was a really bad guy. There was physical abuse. There was sexual abuse with the relationship with him. And it's really hard when you're in a relationship because, again, you tell yourself, well, we're in a relationship, so this cannot be sexual assault. This cannot be this trauma. But the bottom line, I mean, I can go into detail and I thought about it, but the reason why I don't want to is because going into detail again would be a justification, like this actually happened. But really, bottom line for any woman in a relationship or on her own is I said no, and it didn't matter that I said no. And that was it. And then that's sexual assault, right? Yes. And that relationship, that relationship continued for 6 months. And again, things got better when I finally spoke out and told someone, which is the main thing. Like you have to tell someone. And for me, I wasn't comfortable telling my family and I wrestled with that, but I've learned now that that's okay. So I did go to traditional therapy, and I was so fortunate that I had a therapist who was a very forward thinker. She was into breath work. She was into plant medicine, and she didn't obviously push that on me in our traditional therapy, but she talked about it. And what I found is that I could consciously understand everything. I could understand that what happened to me in the past wasn't okay. I could understand my depression, why I was doing the things I was doing, but it was going very slowly. And I couldn't integrate it. I would feel great after a therapy session that night. I'd feel great even the next day. A week later, I felt like I was right back in the depths of despair. Like, yes, I really couldn't integrate, which is where for me, breath work was a really strong piece because you can feel it in your body. And I think especially having a past eating disorder or anyone who had body dysmorphia issues or connection issues with their body, the breath work helps because it brings you back into your body and to help you actually love yourself and do that. So my therapist said, I just did breath work in Costa Rica and it was absolutely incredible. I really think you should go do some breath work. And she went to the first class with me so that I feel comfortable. And that was last April. And then it's kind of been just an amazing roller coaster from there, where I went from not telling anyone about any of these things that had happened to now being okay sharing it and not feeling
being here, girlfriend, being here.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, what a story, Kaylin. Like, you are such an inspiration. Like, I'm gonna cry. I've been crying all day, but it just I'm so proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of everything.
Thank you, Jemima.
Thank you for coming forward and speaking this truth about your experience. What a powerful journey you've been on, and you're going to bring the light to so many other people out there. You're on a path to healing and being the healer. So breath work is really profound way that you've healed yourself, correct? Like, is that?
Yeah. So at first I tried holotropic breath work, which is more intense and cathartic, which helped me to feel the power in my body.
Right.
And when I did that, I had this moment where I was just buzzing and I was tingling and I was in full blown tetany. Like, my arms were actually above my head in tetany. Like, I was just, it was crazy. But I had this realization that that's how much power that's in me regardless.
Yeah.
And I can use this power to feed my depression, which I have been doing. I was like, wow, like, look at how good I am at being depressed. All this energy is going into it.
Exactly.
And
you've been practicing for a long time.
Yes. And so I was just like, you know what? I feel good in this power. And I acknowledge, like, wow, like, this is in me. I'm going to use this to heal myself. Right. If I can be this good at depression, I can be this good at healing.
That's exactly right. That's
Yes.
That is brilliant. Good for you for having that revelation. I do hypnotherapy with people, and that's the thing. It's that body, mind, spirit, and emotional connection, right? Mental tension, emotional tension, physical tension, and then spiritual tension.
Yep.
Right? And once you understand, wow, I've been practicing this negative response mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually for years. I'm really good at it.
Yep.
And then you start to let all that go and say, oh, I can redirect it. I can redirect it. Because if I could direct it in that direction, I can direct it in this direction. Yes, right? That's beautiful. Good for you. That's like so the crux of it. That's totally the crux of it.
Yes. Thank you.
And then, of course, self-love goes with that. Once you redirect it, then you go, oh, I'm precious. I am a wonderful human being. I'm special. Of course, I'm no more special than the person sitting next to me is special.
Yes.
But I have to realize that. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Darcy.
What a journey.
Thank you so much. And when I finally realized that too, a lot of depression, I think people in general, we shy away from people.
Yeah.
And that's all I had done. I didn't have close friends and I didn't want to talk to people, but I also realized in directing that energy, how important a community is. Yes. Because I had that revelation, and then I needed to keep going. I needed to do more breath work. I needed to do more healing modalities, and having connection with the community is perfect, because I could have a week where I was really low, and it was really hard for me to book a breathwork class. But then having someone reach out and say, hey, I'm going Thursday. Do you want to come with me? Or I would go, and then that helps the journey keep going. So you do need a community as well. Yeah. Even with Jemima just messaging me 2 weeks ago, like, do you want to start a session trade for breath work? I was like, thank you. This is perfect, because I was really needing to continue breathing. And clarity breath work, I really like because of how gentle it is. I really enjoy the holotropic breath work. And I think that's a good way to get people, to get them into breath work and see, like, this is really powerful. This isn't just sitting there. Like, I think people judge it. Like, you're taking a deep breath in your mat.
Like, it's a healing tool. It's like, oh my gosh, so much more to that.
Yes, exactly.
Or people are really, they're really caught up in the whole Western health
medicine
thing where you're supposed to take a pill and and then you're supposed to just keep on going, right? Take a pill. Exactly. Oh, you got a cold, take a sinus pill. Go to work, feel terrible, that's okay, take another pill. Oh, you're emotional, here, take another pill. I mean, we just kind of do that to ourselves, and we have unreasonable expectations of what healing is supposed to be about. In fact, we don't understand healing.
Exactly.
We are our own medicine, women and men. You know, the medicine is within. And this healing tool of breath work is so powerful. That I've seen when I've facilitated some of my fellow colleagues go through things that have taken 10 years in therapy in one session, 2 sessions.
Right.
And it's profound to witness, but for them to experience, it's like beyond. And I'm not negating Western medicine. Some people need it to a point, but incorporate these other tools of breath work and sound therapy and so many other meditation and hypnotherapy, all these amazing things that can help us heal within from ourself. Like we don't have to reach for something chemical or external. I mean, breath, I think, is profound for me, being extravagant. It's like I don't have to have a pill. I don't have to have mushrooms. I don't have to have anything external to come within. And it's so empowering to think like it's in me to find that most progressive healing tool I've ever touched in my life. And I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry.
That's okay.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I just was seeing a woman who had been in therapy for a long time. And so I said, you know, for me, I always like doing 3 sessions. It's the magic 3. And just the change between the first session and the second session was amazing. She goes, oh, I'm actually doing stuff in between the second and the third, etc. You know, because I like homework. It's active. We utilize the body, the subconscious. You know, the breath work does really similar stuff. It activates your subconscious and your inner healer. And that's what we're working with. Beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. It's and it's so funny. It's beautiful. And then I also sometimes think of how brutal it is. Like how unfair that other people can cause us traumas. Like you're going to put this on me and then I'm the one that has to fix it, not you. So, which I think is what keeps a lot of people from healing. But that's where like all these healing modalities that say like really lean into what you're feeling helps, because then when you lean into like, I'm angry, you can express that anger and then you can work through it. And then you see
have to go to the dark.
beauty. Yeah, exactly. You see the beauty in taking responsibility. Yes. Yeah. So,
Kaylin, if there was something you could say to so many people out there who relate to you, to your story, your eating disorder and your cutting and your abuse, freaking warrior woman you are. Like, and how old? You're 29? Like, geez, oh my God, I'm so excited for your future. I'm so excited for you. Anyway, you're amazing. What would you? I know it's sort of I haven't asked you this. I'd ask you this before we did this video. But what would you say to them on the spot? I know. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Well, so I would say so many things. That's why I'm trying to think of what. First, I would say, your feelings are valid and you're sick enough. Like you want you are sick enough. This is not you. You are. It's happening and you don't deserve it. And then the next thing I would say is tell someone. You need to tell someone. And if that seems impossible, write it down somewhere and keep it safe until you feel ready to. You have to reach out to someone. Thank you. And you're not. You don't need to have shame with that. There is nothing wrong with you for needing help. And because I think that really anything you're struggling with, I don't see how it's really hard to break habits if you don't have help, if you haven't, and in telling someone you are really surrendering to this is something I've done. Like, to yourself. Yeah,
exactly. Oh, wow.
And it gets better. That's the one thing that I tell myself. It gets better.
Proof of the pudding. Look at her. Look at all of us. You know what I mean? Proof of the puddings. Wow, Kaylin, thank you so much for coming today. Darcy is going to pull a card for your amazing work and just showing up for us. Keep that work going. Keep being the light, the guiding light. Keep that healing work going to be the healer as well as the healing yourself. There's so many people out there who have a beautiful message and you talk so well and you can help a lot of people. So keep going, girlfriend.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here today. And thank you, Jemima and Darcy, for doing this, for talking about these hard topics that need to continuously be talked about. The stigma is still there. It's breaking, but we need to keep going.
Right? I think it's really, really important. I think it's so important. I really appreciate you coming on. You know, it's always nice to hear someone else's story and perspective and someone else's techniques and, you know, and honesty. I really, really appreciate you bringing that today. And that
Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
reaches somebody out there who's going, I don't want someone to know what's happening.
Totally.
Yes, I hope so too. We're never alone. We really
Yeah,
aren't.
we're never alone. We're never alone. And there's just one person is all that needs to hear it, you know, and that helps so many people in return. You know what I mean? The ripple effect of that person's relationships with everybody else. So congratulations for showing up. And it takes balls. I know it takes balls. So, well, let's say that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Bouncing balls. What do you mean? Bouncing balls. Yeah, that's
Of course. All right, what have we got? Number 33.
First of all, I'm using Sandra Ann Taylor's Energy Oracle cards today.
Beautiful.
Okay. And I pulled for you number 33, Door of Romance.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes. So
Here,
number
let's
30.
listen.
Okay.
Hang on, just what's number 33 for her?
Hang on.
33 is something I've seen my whole life. I see if I like a 33 is if I ask the universe, like I need signs to keep going. And that's what I used to ask when I was really low. It was always 33. Always.
That's freaking, the cards are always with us, Kaylin. It's bizarre. Oh, okay. Let's read.
So it says, that's so fantastic. Okay.
Isn't that amazing? Freaking A.
Romance, new beginnings in love. Whether you're looking for a new relationship or just more love in the relationship you're in, this door with a heart opens onto a new beginning in your experience. A new love may be arriving and you are brought together by a strong resonant connection. This may be a call from a past life or maybe a new tenderness about to bloom into heartfelt affection. This relationship already exists in energetic potential. So when this card appears in your spread, make sure you're projecting the kind of self-loving energy that you want to receive from others. Be aware that the universe returns your self-caring treatment to you. It's ready to open the door. Are you? And your affirmation is, as I open the door to my own self-love, I attract more and more loving tenderness to me. Now, I just want to kind of expand on that a half a second. So if you are in a relationship, what this is signaling to you is that any residual fears you have from past relationships, you can begin to heal now by getting a little bit deeper, more honest, allowing a new level of your intimacy between the two of you, a new level of honesty between the two of you, and to understand that also you have some new relationships with your work, your relationship to yourself in terms of your self-love. And just doing this kind of work is also an expression of this card. You know, as you put out, you get back. As you get more open and expansive from your heart center, that's what comes back to you as well. So you're entering this new level of personal intimacy with yourself as well as your loving relationship. Okay.
That resonates so much. I'm a little stunned and speechless right now.
Fantastic. Hands.
And I just have one last thing to add to that, and that is it came with a card called Strategy. Okay. And so this card shows a pen.
What number is that, Darcy?
It's number 21. I'm sorry.
Okay. Which is a 3.
Yep.
Which is a 3.
That is a 3. It is a 3.
Okay, so a pen, a journal, a compass, and a key. And when you receive this card upright, it indicates that this is the optimum time for setting up a very specific strategy for achieving your goals. Write about the direction you want to go in. Consider any potential change in course that may be needed. Be aware of the particulars regarding your goals and have some conscious plan in mind Structure your short-term goals needed to make your long-term goals a reality. This card is telling you to spend some time setting things in order. It's time to take full control, add thought to action, and set your sights on the road ahead. Be thoughtful. And you can say, I plan the necessary steps to achieve my goals. I am willing to take action in that direction. I am flexible, persistent, and prepared. So when you put these two cards together,
amazing.
Holy Bill!
when you put those together, your message to you, Kaylin, is that you're moving into a new level of understanding about what love means, self-love, partnership love, love from the universe, and how you want to actualize that in your goals as you set up your new understanding of where you're moving in life, right? So you have some long-term goals, obviously, in mind with the work that you're doing. And right now we're in this really great conjuring time. You know, the new moon comes I think on the 27th.
Oh, it's 20.
So make a nice piece of paper, put short-term goals on one side, long-term goals on the other, and create your action plan and put that together and understand it's coming from your heart center. This is all about your heart, and that you can heal up those past heart aches even deeper than before.
Oh my goodness.
And Kaylin, the cards speak to us every time we pull one. They're spot on. Like whatever we talk about, they're spot on. So this is for you. And listen loud, lady. You are on your. Woo, I'm so excited. And it takes, as I said, once again, these balls to show up, and you showed up, and we are so grateful, aren't we, Darcy, for coming and your story from trauma to triumph. You are such a triumphant warrior. We're so proud of you, and thank you, everyone. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Check us out next week, and once again, Kaylin, bless you. Darcy,
bless you both.
Peace out, everyone. Take care. Have a
Come back and see us, Kaylin. Come back.
Yes, I want to.
Bye. I'm just going to press stop. Oh, hang on, technology. Hold on. Okay, again. Bye.